Good afternoon, my Real News Midday TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update. And in the news this afternoon, man shot and killed in Shelter Rock, St. Catherine. An investigation has been launched into the killing of an unidentified man in the Shelter Rock community of Spanish Town, St. Catherine on Friday night. Police reports state that explosions were heard in the community about 9:30 p.m. The Spanish Town police were summoned, and upon their arrival, the man's body was found on the floor of a building in the community with what appeared to be multiple gunshot wounds. He was clad in a green merino, black shorts, and a pair of gray slippers. No motive has been established in the man's death. Police identify woman killed in cassava piece shooting. The police have identified a woman who was shot and killed on Wednesday at a bar in Cassava Piece, St. Andrew. She is 28-year-old Kellyanne Bernard, a bartender from Mannings Hill Road in the parish. The police have reported that around 7:20 p.m., people were gathered at a bar in the vicinity of Peanut Lane in the community when gunmen alighted from a silver motor vehicle and opened a fire at the gathering before escaping. After the shooting, 6 people were found suffering from gunshot wounds. They were taken to hospital, where Bernardo was pronounced dead. The other victims were admitted in serious but stable condition. An investigation into the incident has been launched. Trelawny police launch Operation Recovery. The Trelawny police have launched a large-scale search operation designed to address the uptick in murders and shootings across the division since the beginning of the year. They say most of the incidents have been attributed to interpersonal conflicts emanating from illicit lottery scamming activities. The Trelawny police are urging members of the public to seek the correct channels to assist them in conflict resolution. The police say so far, activities under the initiative dubbed Operation Recovery have led to the seizure of over $5 million and the arrest of a man on reasonable suspicion of breaches of the Law Reform Act. They say on Wednesday, the initiative also led to seizure of a Browning semi-automatic pistol with 12 rounds of ammunition during an operation. One man was arrested in relation to the seizure. Meanwhile, one man was arrested for various crimes, including breaches of the Proceeds of Crime Act, while another was taken into custody for breaching his bail conditions. The police say as the anti-crime search continues, operations will be focused on capturing wanted persons, gunmen, gang members, and individuals who are associated with violent crimes. They say the surge will see an elevation of daily operations across the parish with the assistance of the Jamaica Defense Force and the other police formations in Area 1. As a result, the public should see an increase in police presence along strategic corridors within the parish. The police are seeking the cooperation of the public who may experience some inconvenience during this operation, particularly in public spaces. 2 men wounded in St. Thomas shooting. 2 men were rushed to hospital following a shooting in Seaforth, St. Thomas around 9 o'clock Wednesday morning. Deputy Superintendent O'Neill Thompson, officer in charge of operations for the St. Thomas Police, told the news that a group of men was standing in Seaforth when 2 others walked up and fired shots in their direction before escaping.
A group of men were standing at a section in the township of Seaforth when 2 men on foot fired shots in their direction and then made good their escape. After the shooting subsided, it was discovered that 2 men were injured as a result of the gunshots. They were taken to Princess Margaret Hospital, where they are now undergoing treatment. The police has intensified their presence in the area. We're also getting assistance from our counterpart, the JDF, to see how best we can have the situation under control.
Second, the suspect held in relation to abduction and rape of woman in St. Anne. The St. Anne police have taken another man into custody in relation to the alleged rape and abduction of a female in the parish on Saturday. This brings to the number of men held in relation to the incident. The 24-year-old businessman was held by the police during an operation Wednesday afternoon. It is reported that a snap raid was carried out at the 8 Rivers Plaza in Ocho Rios, St. Anne on Wednesday in search of a suspect who was wanted in relation to the forceful abduction, rape and the possession of prohibited weapon committed at the Pyramid Heights in the parish. The detention of the suspect stems from an incident involving a group of 3 women who went to spend the weekend at an Airbnb in Ocho Rios with 3 males. It was alleged that one of the suspects pointed a firearm at one of the women and demanded sex. Another suspect reportedly raped the woman. The 3 complainants were reportedly locked up in the house by the 3 men. The police were called, and on their arrival, 2 of the suspects fled, leaving the 3rd man behind. He was arrested after a brief standoff with the police. The police say they are intensifying their search for the 3rd suspect. Jamaicans in Florida largely spared the brunt of Hurricane Milton. Daybreak now tells the story of the damage wrought by Hurricane Milton when it brought the punishing rains, storm surge and winds to Florida. The Category 3 storm, which made landfall in the state, took roofs and left more than a foot of rain in Tampa and other areas. While scores are now left to rebuild from the rubble, the word so far is that Jamaicans who were in storm's path managed to weather the storm. Jamaica's Consul General to Miami, Oliver Meir, told the news on Thursday morning that Jamaicans living in Florida were for the most part unscathed.
So the Jamaicans we spoke to in Tampa, St. Petersburg, in Tallahassee, Fort Myers, Port St. Lucie, and most of South Florida all seem to have been relatively okay. Persons, had some damage to roofs, some flooding, light poles fell down in some areas. There was a challenge, however, with tornadoes. I believe up to 36 tornadoes were cited that caused some damage, especially in Stuart. Based on the reports thus far, we've seen any Jamaicans with that sort of damage. One of the things I saw, which we were encouraged about, is that a number of Jamaicans evacuated, especially from Tampa, and they moved down to areas such as Fort Lauderdale and Miami. In fact, the number of students Jamaican students at the university there in Tampa who came down to South Florida, and so they reported to me that they were doing fine. So we're happy about that. It seemed that our Jamaicans, for the most part, took it seriously. We know what we saw for Hurricane Helen just 2 weeks ago. We continue to wait for the assessment, which will now start to take place. I spoke to some Jamaicans in Tampa, and they were in a position where they didn't anticipate a threat, so they were fine.
Guys, thank you for watching. See you this evening at 6 p.m. for another news update.